Hello everyone, welcome back again to our another episode of Professional Education Series. By the way, I am Sir Jiraya. So sa video na ito, pag-uusapan natin ang isa sa pinaka-importanting topic sa education, ang philosophy of education. So kung ikaw ay education student, future teacher, let reviewer, malaking tulong ang lesson na ito dahil dito natin maunawaan kung bakit magkakaiba ang paraan ng pagtuturo ng ating mga guro, no? Or ng mga teacher. Now, bago tayo magsimula, let's just think about this, no? May dalawang teacher na nagtuturo ng parehong lesson. Pero, mapapansin ninyo na magkaiba ang kanilang style. We have teacher 1. Si teacher 1, puro lecture, teacher-centered approach. While si teacher 2, activities and group discussion or learner-centered approach naman ang teacher 2. So, magkaiba man ang paraan, okay? Iisa lang ang layunin nila na matulungan ang mga estudyante na matuto. Okay? So, ang tanong, bakit sila magkaiba ng paraan ng pagtuturo? Very good. Ang sagot ay dahil magkaiba sila ng educational philosophy. Okay? At iyan ang ating pag-aaralan. At yan ang pag-aaralan natin ngayon. Okay? Now, what is philosophy of education? So, when we say philosophy of education, it is the study of the purpose, nature, and goals of education. Okay? Ito ang pag-aaral tungkol sa layunin, kalikhasan, at goals ng education. So sa madaling salita, no, ito ang nagsisilbing guide ng teacher sa paggawa ng desisyon tungkol sa teaching, tungkol sa learning, tungkol sa curriculum, and assessment. Kaya, kapag may nagtatanong kung bakit, if you have a question, no, bakit yun si teacher 1, iba yung approach niya sa teaching, iba yung pagtiteach niya kay teacher 2, kaya kung may nagtatanong kung bakit ganito ang paraan ng pagtuturo ng isang teacher, ang sagot ay dahil iyon ang kaniyang educational philosophy. Sa madaling salita, it answers the question, why do we teach the way we teach? Diba? And take note of this, that a clear philosophy helps teacher make meaningful decisions and create a better learning experiences. Again, if we are going to connect this topic to our previous topic, we discussed about the learning theories. Here, understanding the learning theories. Kung panoorin niyo yan, nandyan yung link sa comment section. Panoorin niyo yun yung mga, you are going to understand the learning theories. Kasi yun yung mga theories na ginagamit din ng mga teacher para sa pagtuturo ng mga estudyante. Yung mga strategy at iba pa na mga pamamaraan ng pagtuturo. And then we discuss also the Bloom's taxonomy. The Bloom's taxonomy is the level, no, of learning. Okay? So we have there the yun yung mga levels na dapat ma-meet ng mga estudyante. Okay, so kung gusto nyo panoorin yun, nandiyan sa comment section yung video na yun. So if you're going to try to connect everything, no? Iba-iba ang mga teacher, iba-iba ang pagtuturo, iba yung pamamaraan ng pagtuturo nila. And yung learning theories, yun yung mga strategy. Yung Bloom's taxonomy, yun yung guide nila para paggawa ng lesson plan, paggawa ng objective, no? Paggawa ng assessment. And ito din ang philosophy. Ito yung paraan ng pagtuturo ng teacher. Okay? But this time, no, mostly ngayon, ang curriculum natin is learner-centered na. Okay? Hindi teacher-centered, kundi learner-centered or student-centered. Okay? Next. So, why is philosophy of education important? Bakit naman, no, mahalaga ang philosophy ng education? Para sa'yo, bakit nga ba mahalaga? Okay? Una, ang philosophy of education, nakakatulong ito sa paggawa ng mas maayos na lesson plan. Because it guides teachers in making meaningful decision that effective learning experience. Pangalawa, nag-guide ito sa classroom management at sa mga desisyon ng mga teacher. And pangatlo, nakaka-apekto rin ito sa curriculum at assessment na ginagamit sa klase. At higit sa lahat, tinutulungan ito, okay, it develops professional identity or tinutulungan ito ang isang guro na magkaroon ng sariling teaching identity at mas maging effective sa pagtuturo. When we say teaching identity, isa pamamaraan ng teacher sa pagtuturo. Okay? Kaya mapapansin niyo, bakit yung teacher na C1 is iba yung pamamaraan ng pagtuturo niya, hindi katulad ni teacher 2, kaya paborito ko talaga siya. Kasi yun yung mga philosophy nila pagdating sa education, yun yung mga strategy, yun yung mga pamamaraan nila sa pagtuturo. Okay? So, kaya napakahalaga ng philosophy of education. Now, we have two major approaches. So, there are two main ways of thinking about teaching and learning. First, teacher-centered, okay, versus learner-centered. Anong pagkakaiba nilang dalawa? Okay? And ano ang pagkakapareho? The teacher-centered, ang una dito, no, ang teacher ay ang pangunahing source of knowledge. Teacher is the main source of knowledge. Okay? Kadalasan ay lecture, no, and direct instruction are common. Just a student listen and follow the teacher. Ganun lang. So, more teachers talk, and less ang student, no? So, while the learner-centered, students actively participate, okay? So, dito, ang mga estudyante aktibong nakikilahok sa learning process. Mas binibigyan sila ng pagkakataon na magtanong, mag-explore, matuto sa pamamagitan ng experience. No? Students actively participate in learning. Focus on understanding skills and discovery. Inquiry, collaboration, and exploration are used. Students think, share, and apply ideas. Diba? Kung mapapansin nyo, malayo yung ano nila, yung pagkakaiba nila. Diba? Kasi dito, si teacher lang yung nagsasalita. Si teacher kasi estudyante, nakikinig. Yun yung noon na approach. Pero ngayon, we are learner-centered. So, kaya kung ikaw practice teacher ka, so kaya kailangan mong gumamit ng learner-centered. Ano yung mga learner-centered? Yun yung mga nakafocus yung mga activity mo sa yung objective mo, nakafocus sa mga estudyante, more and student, and then ikaw, facilitator ka lang. Okay? Nagpa-facilitate ka lang ng mga estudyante. No? And then you will let the student to discover the knowledge. Okay? Sila mismo ang mag-discover. So, yan na po ang pamamaraan ng pagtuturo ngayon. Hinayaan na ang estudyante na mag-discover in their own knowledge. Okay? And hinayaan ng mga estudyante na mag-share ng kanilang mga ideas. Okay? So, yun yung pamamaraan ng pagtuturo. Pagkakaiba ng approaches. But, ang pagkakapareho nila, both approaches have value. Okay? Effective teaching blend the strength of both for a better learning. So, minsan, biniblend. Habang nagsasalita si teacher, si student naman is in-encourage ni teacher na magtanong or magsagot sa tanong ni teacher. So, yun. So, both of these approaches have a value. So, sa panahon ngayon, mas maraming school ang gumagamit ng learner-centered approach dahil mas i-engage ang mga estudyante or mas nag-i-engage ang mga estudyante. Okay? So, kaya sa mga teacher, mga future teacher, mga practice teacher, you have to use the learner-centered approach kasi ito yung kadalasang ginagamit natin ngayon, especially sa bagong curriculum. Now, we have here the first philosophy of education, essentialism. So, ang unang philosophy ay essentialism. So, ang main idea nito ay dapat matutunan ng bawat estudyante ang basic at essential knowledge and skills. It focuses teaching the essential knowledge and skills that every learner should master. Okay? So, in this philosophy, ang teacher ang pangunahing source of knowledge. Okay? At may malaking responsibility sa classroom. Ito na philosophy. Ang focus ng philosophy na ito is yung reading, writing, mathematics, science, and good values. So, kaya kung mapapansin ninyo, ang lecture, drills, at practice ay madalas gamitin sa essentialism. Ang unang philosophy ay essentialism. Okay, in this one, ito na philosophy is nakatuon siya sa basic skills. Okay, pag tinatanong sa exam, pag tinatanong sa exam, basic skills or basic or essential knowledge, then it is an essentialism in a philosophy of education. Okay? Example in the classroom, the student memorize important facts, practice basic skills, and follow clear rules and structure. And the goal of this philosophy is to develop well-rounded individuals with strong fundamental knowledge and discipline. Again, pag sinasabi nating basic knowledge or essential knowledge and essentialism. Very good. Next, we have the perennialism. Okay? Ang perennialism naman, naniniwala ang philosophy na ito na may mga timeless ideas at values na mahalagang matutunan ng bawat tao. Okay? Ito na may mga timeless idea at values na mahalagang matutunan ng bawat tao. Kaya hindi lang basta-basta facts ang tinuturo rito, kundi pati reasoning, critical thinking, at moral values. Okay? So the main idea is focus on teaching timeless truth. Okay? Great ideas, classic works that are important across time and culture. The focus develops student intellect, reasoning, and moral character. And the role of the teacher is a guide who helps students understand important ideas and values. No, kaya madalas ginagamit dito ang discussion, diba? Yung debate at pagbabasa ng classic books upang mas mapaunlad ang pag-iisip ng mga estudyante. The main goal is to develop wise, thoughtful, and morally upright individuals who can contribute to a better society. Again, pag sinabi nating timeless truth is perennialism. Okay? So, ang perennialism again, ito ay mga timeless ideas, values na mahalagang matutunan ng bawat tao. Okay, hindi lang basta facts ang tinuturo, kundi pati din reasoning. Okay? We have also the progressivism. So, the progressivism naman, ito yung pinasikat ni John Dewey. Okay? The key proponents. So, ang pangunahing prinsipyo nito ay learning by doing. Okay? Learning by doing. Sabi dito, education should be based on experience, active learning, and real-life situation. Mas matuto ang mga estudyante, no? Kapag sila mismo ang gumagawa at nakakaranas. Kaya ang teacher dito, hindi lang lecturer, kundi facilitator o guide. Halimbawa, sa science, mas epektibo ang paggawa ng experiment kaysa puro lecture lamang. Yes, and that one, no, I experienced that during my practice teaching, no, na pangit lang, sa ngayon, pangit talaga na puro ka lang lecture. Kailangan kasi na makita mismo at maranasan o ma-experience mismo ng mga estudyante kung ano yung pinagsasabi mo. Example, you are talking about concentration. What is concentration? What is mga tawag ni different kind of chemical reaction. So, kung puro ka lang salita, an example, hindi nila tawag doon, hindi nila na-experience, hindi sila nag hands-on activity, talagang hindi nila masyadong maiintindihan. Again, boring talaga siya pag puro lang salita. So, example in the progressivism is group discussion, problem-solving activities, project, and inquiry-based learning. So, ito yung inquiry-based learning, student ask question and explore answer. So, matanong ang estudyante, paano nga ba nangyayari? Bakit may bubbles pag mix yung vinegar at saka baking soda? So, that question, no, they will explore the answer to experimentation. Okay? So, ito yung progressivism. Learning by doing. It develop active, independent, and responsible learners who can think and act in changing world. I have one, no, si Ma'am Shem Verano, the best talaga siya na teacher kasi ang ginawa niya, nag-explain na siya ng mga estudyante about sa topic, ganito, ganyan, and then she give example, and then after that, lahat ng lesson, activity talaga, learner-centered, and then dyan mo makikita ang collaboration ng mga estudyante. And nakakasagot sila. Okay, so iyan yung napakagandang way of teaching or approach. Okay, next, we have the Reconstructionism. So, when we say Reconstructionism, education for social change. So, ang Reconstructionism naman ay naniniwala na ang education ay dapat makatulong sa pagbabago ng lipunan. Okay? Hindi lang para makapasa ang estudyante, kundi para maging responsabling citizen at makatulong sa komunidad o sa community. Kaya ang project mostly sa Constructionism ay kadalasan tungkol sa environmental protection, human rights, equality, and community service. So, ang goal ay makapag-produce ng mga learners na may malasakit sa lipunan. Okay? When education for social change is Reconstructionism. Again, dito makaka-produce ng mga estudyante na hindi lang natututo, kundi may malasakit din sa lipunan. Ba, yung mga tree planting, okay, mostly sa NSTP. Mayroong mga tree planting, gaining, mga feeding programs, no? So, those are Reconstructionism. Dito, mas tinuturuan yung mga estudyante na hindi lang nag-aaral lang sila para matuto, kundi dito, mas nade-develop sa kanila yung tinatawag nating malasakit sa lipunan. Okay? Next, we have existentialism. So, existentialism naman, the main idea is that students choose their own learning. Teacher act as a facilitator. Alam mo, dito talaga ako believe sa existentialism. Kasi dito, meron kasi iba't ibang uri ng mga estudyante. May mga estudyante na patulog-tulog lang sa klase, pero pag tinatanong mo, bonggang sagot. May estudyante namang malikot, pero iba yung way of learning niya. So, kaya sa ngayon, may mga teacher na hinahayaan nila yung mga estudyante nila na natulog lang, lalo na pag na-confirm nila na yun yung kanike. So, sa existentialism naman, ito ang huling philosophy ng existentialism. Sa philosophy na ito, binibigyan ng freedom or kalayaan ng mga estudyante na pumili ng kanilang sariling learning experiences. Okay? So, ang teacher, nagsisibing facilitator lamang at hindi nagdidikta sa lahat ng gagawin ng learner. So, dito, example, pinapagawa mo yung mga estudyante mo ng kanilang nagpagawa ka sa kanila ng project about sa nangyayari ngayon sa ating bansa. So, hayaan mo sila kung ano yung gusto nila, kung paano nila may mga estudyante na nag-search on YouTube or Google, may mga estudyante na nagbabasa ng libro, may mga estudyante na gusto nila para mas natutunan nila, mas nanonood sila ng video, di ba? So, they have freedom. Kaya ang focus ito ay freedom, responsibility, and self-discovery. Kung ano nga bang klase ng mga estudyante sila, ano nga bang klase ng mga learners sila. Okay, in this philosophy, you let the students to have freedom to choose their own learning. And you as a teachers, you act as a facilitator. So, halimbawa, maaaring pumili ang student ng sariling research topic o project based sa kanilang interest. Diba? Mostly, meron kami mga teacher noon sa college namin na magsabi siya, okay, meron ka tayong project about the thermodynamic and kayo ang bahala kung ano yung gusto ninyo mga experts. So, hinayaan ang mga estudyante na pumili sa kanilang gustong project na gagawin. So, yun yung existentialism. Freedom. Okay? Freedom and responsibility and self-discovery. Okay, naintindihan na? Okay, meron itong quotation. Your life is your choice. Your learning is your journey. Amen. Okay, next we have the comparison table. So let's compare, no? The philosophy, again, we have the essentialism, we have the perennialism, progressivism, reconstructionism, existentialism. When the essentialism, it focuses on basic skills. Mostly na ginagawa, lecture. Okay? Pag perennialism naman, great ideas. Ang classroom na ginawa, discussion. Progressivism, experience or learning by doing. And the classroom approach, activities. And reconstructionism naman is social change. Classroom approach is community project. Existentialism is individual choice or kalayaan ng mga estudyante na pumili ng kanilang own learning, no? And also self-directed learning. Okay? So, nakuha na kita na natin yung pagkakaiba nila. Against essentialism, basic skills. Okay? Or essential knowledge. Perennialism, great ideas, more on discussion, no? And progressivism, experience, dito more on activities, group activities, no? Reconstructionism, community project. Existentialism, self-directed learning. Again, these are the philosophy of education. Now, classroom application. Example, science lesson. In essentialism, okay, ito yung blend na ito. So, blend na yung mga iba't ibang philosophy. So, example science lesson. So, essentialism, the teacher explains. The teacher explains about photosynthesis. Okay? And then, in progressivism, students perform experiments. And existentialism, students choose their own project. So, different philosophies guide how lessons are taught, but the goal is the same. Meaningful learning for every student. So, kaya kung may mga teacher kayo na explain sila na explain din, that is essentialism. Pag may mga teacher naman na more on project, more on experimentation, then progressivism. And when project naman, student choose your teacher let you choose, or ikaw na teacher, pinayagan mo yung mga estudyante mo na mamili ng kanilang mga sariling project or own project, then that is existentialism. And ito pwede mo i-blend sa lahat na ito na approach ng philosophy. Kung ka na teacher, okay, explain ka. And then after that, experiment. Ito naman talaga yung ginagamit ngayon. No? Explain yung unti yung teacher, experiment yung gusto na magpapa-experiment yung teacher, and then magpapa-project yung teacher. Tama? So again, pagdating naman dito sa philosophy, you have also to know the Bloom's taxonomy and the theories of learning para din mas effective teacher ka. Okay? Next, why teachers should know these philosophies? Bakit nga ba mahalaga na malaman ng mga teacher ang mga philosophies? At ikaw na practice teacher, bakit mahalaga nga na malaman mo ito? Okay? So, why? Because it better lesson planning. So, kung alam mo kung ano yung paraan ng pagtuturo mo, so mas maganda yung pagpaplano mo sa lesson. Okay, ganito yung gawin ko. Gusto ko yung mga estudyante may experience sila. So, you know already, okay, your plan pagdating sa yung pagturo. Okay? And then, next, better classroom. Diba? So, when you say better classroom, ito naman yung, tawag nito, ito naman yung better classroom management. Alam mo kung ano yung, okay, dapat ang mga estudyante, di sila pwede mag-ingay. Okay? So, dapat, tawag ito, nakatulong sa paggawa ng effective lesson. Mas madali ang classroom management paggawa ng tamang desisyon. No? So, mas tama yung decision if you know these philosophies. Better decision making and student-centered learning and professional growth, because great teaching begins with understanding how learning happens. Diba? Maganda, great teaching begins when you understand how learning happens. Paano nga ba nangyayari ang pagkatuto? Or yung, paano natututo yung mga estudyante? Anong pamamaraan ng, anong klase ng mga estudyanteng meron ka? Yan din yung pinakano. Anong klaseng estudyante? Diba sa learning theories, yun, anong klase ng mga estudyante ang meron ka? Kasi, pag once na alam mo yung mga klaseng learners na meron ka, you are already aware on what kind of strategies or philosophies that you're going to use. Okay? Yun. That's why it's very important for you to really understand that the learning theories, Bloom's taxonomies, and the philosophies in which you're going to combine this all, then boom, you're the best teacher. And aside from that, marami pang ibang learning. Marami pang ibang Okay? So ito yung in-explain ko ngayon, basic explanation lang. Okay? Now, key takeaways. Okay, meron pa tayong key takeaways. Bago tayo matapos, no, balikan natin ang ating mga natutunan. Again, what is philosophy? Educational philosophy guides teaching. It guides teachers. Okay? And every philosophy has strength, no? Bawat philosophy, essentialism, perennialism, reconstructionism, ano pa ba? Essentialism, progressivism. So, mayroon silang ibang-ibang mga strength. Okay, may pagkakaiba sila. Pero, yung goal lang nila is matuto ang mga estudyante. Okay? Or values, no? And then, effective teachers integrate different philosophies. Okay? So, if you want to be an effective teacher, you have to integrate the different philosophies in one lesson, no? And no single philosophy fits every classroom. Hindi lang yung essentialism, no. Kasi hindi lahat ng estudyante nakikinig. Yung gagawin ko yung progressivism, no. Hindi lahat ng estudyante gusto ng experimentation. Gusto ko lang ng yung tawag dun, yung pinaka-last natin na yung existentialism. Masabi mo, existentialism, hindi lahat ng estudyante kayang gumawa ng sarili nilang wala silang decision bang, ano ba akong gagawin ganun. Iba-iba mga estudyante. So that's why you have to integrate different philosophies in your classroom or in your lesson. Okay? Again, great teaching is not about choosing one philosophy, but using the right ideas to help every learner succeed, because your goal is for the learner to succeed. So thank you everyone for listening to this another videos, another learning, something. And again, take note that a teacher's philosophy shapes not only the classroom, but also the future of every learner. And again, this is Sir Jiraiya. Thank you for watching our video this evening and or morning or afternoon. And thank you so much. I hope to see you in the next video. Again, this is Sir Jiraiya, always here to share. God bless and bye-bye.